What's up, everybody? Derek Anderson, the DA. All right, it is official. The strikes are now in the books. 2023 Hollywood strikes are now completely over. And you can see on this headline, they've come to terms with the studios. The strike is over. SAG-AFTRA and the studios reach a tentative deal on a new 3-year contract. And here's the thing. Even though they have reached a tentative deal and they have a contract in place, look, this thing is by no means over. We've already talked about the fact that IATSE got their own strike coming up next year sometime. But behind the scenes, you know, things are going to be very, very dicey as Hollywood tries to go back to work. It's going to be really interesting to see, and we'll cover that in just a second. But let's talk about the strikes themselves. Listen, Hollywood did itself no favors at all. All right. I think that what they basically did is these strikes were to win a battle, but ultimately they're going to lose the war. We talked about that with the writer's strike. Like, one of the reasons that I really stopped talking about the strikes a lot is because the writer's strike, to me, that was the more existential one, because the writers, they had no leverage, and they were basically just putting their jobs up and saying, you know what, we just won't work anymore until you guys come to a fair deal, but we really have nothing to leverage this against. So we're just going to stand out here and not work for months and months and months. And that's why I felt like, okay, after the writer's strike was over, like, the studios would say, okay, let's hurry up and get these actors done. Now that we got these writers, we paid them off or whatever, let's get these actors back into place and let's go ahead and get back to work. But then the actors came out and said, nah, we want a levy. We want a tax on every single subscriber that you guys have. And we want you to give us 57 cents per subscriber or whatever the case may be, which I thought was absolutely ridiculous. But nevertheless, maybe they have come to some term. We're going to get the details as the weeks develop, and we're going to see more about what this particular deal is. But in my opinion, they won the battle. They stood on strike. They hung out. But I think overall, they're going to lose the war. Why? Because there's going to be less work. We've already talked about that. There will be less writing work going forward. And then there, of course, will be less acting going forward. You know, I think the big actors will be fine. Those guys ain't got nothing to worry about. It's the small-time writers and the small-time actors that are going to be losing out. Those are the guys that were working in Hollywood during the streaming boom, and now it's a streaming bust, and those guys are not going to have jobs. Did they dig too deep and too greedily like the dwarves in Lord of the Rings? Maybe. You know, we'll find out, but I feel like that's basically what it is. They're going to lose the war. Ultimately, there's going to be less work. You know, Bob Iger's already talking about cutting back. Yeah, this was on the Wrap. Disney to cut content budget by $3 billion, partially due to the strikes. The company had expected to spend $30 billion this year. So yeah, they're cutting back $3 billion. So they're going to be making less content. And that's going to go with a lot of studios, okay? A lot of studios are just, hey, man, we got to cut all of this content that we're making. None of this stuff is making us money. Clearly, it's not making Disney any money. Disney has been losing tons of money. And a lot of these other studios are doing the same thing. So they're going to cut back all of the spending that they're doing. And because of the strikes, and they're going to have to pay even more money, they're going to cut back even more. So expect like $3 billion, you know, that, yeah, that's a nice number for now. I guarantee you this is going to go up and up and up across the board for all of Hollywood. So yeah, they won the battle. They're going to get some more money for the writers that made it, okay? It's like the Hunger Games. Hey, you made it. You survived. You're on to the next round. Congratulations. Okay, you made it. But there's going to be a lot of dead writers in the wasteland that are like, well, I guess it's we got to go do something else. You know, time to start waiting tables or whatever the case may be. But they're not going to be writers in Hollywood anymore. But yeah, let's go ahead and check out the article and see what they got to say about it. After 118 days of the Actors Guild being out on strike, SAG-AFTRA and the studios on Wednesday reached a tentative deal on a new contract that could see Hollywood up and running again within weeks. So it's going to take weeks, not happening tomorrow, all right? They ain't opening up the sets and getting everybody back to work. It's going to take some time for these cats to come back. The strike will be over as of 12:01 Pacific time on Thursday, November 9. We hear putting an end to more than 7 months of labor unrest in Hollywood that saw the Writers Guild and SAG-AFTRA hit the picket line in the industry's first joint strike in more than 60 years. Specific details of the deal are expected to be revealed when the agreement goes to the board Friday. Yeah, so we'll find out on Friday exactly what the deal is, all the specifics, and we'll know all of that. And look, the related story, SAG-AFTRA lauds new deal, valuing it at over $1 billion with unprecedented provisions and extraordinary scope. Similar language to, again, what the writers said, what the Writers Guild said after that one was done. Oh, man, it's an amazing deal. Everybody's going to be so happy. But then again, we're going to probably lose about 40 to 50% of the writers that we previously had working for us. So all the people that were out there on strike, standing on those picket lines, begging, hey, man, we got to get a fair deal. We got to get a fair deal. You guys, thank you for your service and go ahead and start waiting tables because that's basically what's going to end up happening. And the same thing with some of the smaller actors. Now, I think the actors will make out a little bit better than the writers. There's a lot more actors that are needed, background actors. You always need some actors for little different types of things. I think that the actors will probably be, better suited. There's still going to be work for them and they'll be all right. But they're not going to be making the money that they were because they're going to get less jobs. There'll still be work that's out there for them, but there's just going to be less of it. So, and maybe they'll make a little bit more money. Maybe it'll all work out in the wash. Again, we got to see what the deal is itself. But here's the real big question, right? The aftermath. What happens in Hollywood now? Hollywood's first big role after the SAG strike, acting like there are no hard feelings. Yeah, there's a ton of hard feelings right now going on in Tinseltown. Absolutely 1000%. We've seen some of that on the Deadline comments, and we'll check some of those in a minute. But yeah, there's a lot of hard feelings. These cats are not just going to be able to kumbaya this thing and get around it. Like I said, the IATSE strike, the Teamster strike, all of that kind of stuff, their labor disputes, all of that is coming up next year. And will the actors and the writers shut Hollywood down again and stand in solidarity for these guys? I doubt it. I seriously doubt it, especially after they just went this long without work. And what's going to happen now when they're on set and they're bumping shoulders with some of these, behind the scenes guys? The crew, the cameramen, all of these cats. What happens when they're going behind the scenes with these guys? Hey, what's up, fellas? Hey, how y'all doing? Hey, man, thanks for the help on the strike. We really appreciate it. Yeah, bro, we going to be looking for you on the strike line next year. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of that. It's going to be a whole lot of interesting conversations that's going to be going on inside some of these backlots and studios. I guarantee it. I am very interested to see what happens with that. But let's just peek this out real quick. Yeah, it's talking about the rhetoric during the strikes turned harsh and even personal, stoked by anonymous quotes attributed to studio executives saying the AMPTP intended to cause enough economic pain to make talent cave during the negotiations. They're saying even the Variety and the Hollywood Reporter, they were coming after the trades. Like the trades are the ones that prop y'all up and give y'all love, and y'all was coming after the trades. Writers and actors dismissed those outlets as mouthpieces for the studios, advancing their agenda because they covered their advertising dollars. I mean, stuff was getting ugly, right? We saw a lot of this going on during the strike, man. It was absolutely crazy. Then they were going after the directors, right? They were saying that the directors messed everything up. They misread the labor moment, because they reached a quick deal and they said, oh man, they gave the AMPTP the fuel they needed to keep the strikes going and hurt us even more. So they after the directors, everybody's been getting hit with this stuff, right? Everybody's been getting hit upside the head. But here's the most important thing, right? The expectation is the studios and the streamers will continue to engage in belt tightening by reducing orders of movies and TV shows. And that's like I said, there's going to be less work out there, all right? A cost-saving maneuver that will have the effect, intended or otherwise, of adding to talent's burdens, receiving better pay under the new deals, but with less overall work to go around. And what you're also going to see is that these studios are going to start doing stuff overseas. They say, hey, man, let's get out of this country where we ain't got to deal with these particular deals. We'll get overseas. We'll start working with actors and talents in other countries, and we'll start building out a more global entertainment empire instead of just having everything concentrated in Hollywood. Hollywood's going to lose in this. That's how I said. You're going to win the battles. Oh, yeah, we got more money, like it says here. Yeah, rightly celebrate the gains and concessions won with your united front. Go ahead and do that. But your enthusiasm, you might have to slow all of that down because of a more frugal mentality. Greater reliance on cheaper reality shows and international acquisitions. This is where I think this thing is going to end up going. So, yeah, there's some wins. And they can celebrate them all they want to. But I think, again, just a long-term focus, looking maybe 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line, I think they're going to maybe have some regrets about what happened here in 2023. So as you can imagine, there are a ton of comments in regards to this thing on Deadline, 145 of them. Let's go through a few. Yeah, this guy, CPA, $6.5 billion in losses in 4 months. Screw up the rest of the union members, but celebrate $1 billion in projected gains over 3 years. If you are still supporting the unions or think they are on your side, you are as stupid as the corrupt unions. 160,000 members in SAG and less than 10,000 are actually working. Who will get those $1 billion? Yeah, that's going to go to the top dogs. It's always going to go. It's going to be the top guys, the top actors, those little below the line guys. They were working for the guys at the top of the line. That's basically who's going to benefit from all of this. And those guys are going to be out of work. That's it. The amount of content that studios have cut and pulled from streaming platforms this year is staggering. There's no way more than 5,000 actors will ever be working full time in the next 3 years. It may be like 5,000 to 10,000, but yeah, I agree. Again, they've cut so much content, okay, from those streaming platforms. It's staggering. We were talking about that. We've discussed all of this stuff. They are going to absolutely 1,000% have less work for all of these people in Hollywood. And Hollywood's just going to take their business elsewhere. They're going to go into different parts of the world, maybe different parts of the country, but definitely different parts of the world, to start producing their content. Or they'll just bring more content over from there. Netflix had the perfect business model for this type of thing. That's why they were probably the last holdouts. I'm really interested to see what that streaming levy turned out to be. IATSE member, strike is over, so you can stop shilling for the companies now. I support unions because without them, there is no hope of negotiating favorable conditions as an individual against multinational companies worth billions. If you don't like it, then drop out of the union, although you probably aren't union anyway, and see how you fare on your own. Sure, I'm not always happy with the unions, but membership and solidarity is better than the alternative. I mean, that's the way some cats look at life. They think, hey, I got to be a part of the union. I don't have enough of a voice to go out there and do my thing and profit from my talent. I don't have enough, confidence in my own personal talent to go out there and just do my thing. So, yeah, I got to just basically, join the union. And, hey, I don't have a problem with that if that's how you feel about it. There's nothing wrong with that. I think differently. Look at this guy, Eric S. Streaming participation bonus is not streaming residuals. That was the biggest ask of this entire strike, not the boogeyman of AI, and the AMPTP got away with hiding their precious viewership numbers again and not giving us legitimate residual structure. That's a massive failure on the part of guild leadership. I'll be a no vote. This is a good deal. Yeah, I'm curious about what this actually looks like, this bonus that they're talking about. It's not a levy, okay? Apparently it's not a levy, but it's something in between the levy and actual residuals. That's what I've been reading. I'm not going to speculate on it. I'm curious to what it is, and we'll be probably talking about this tomorrow. Yeah, streaming participation bonus, ouch, bait and switch revenue sharing. Yeah, it sounds like that. But yeah, like I said, I want to see what they actually say. Hope it was worth it. Yeah, this person don't sound too happy. And all it really cost you was the end of solidarity as we know it. The low-paid, below-the-line workers were the victims and will think twice in the future about giving so much to those who already get way more than they do. You lost, you suck, walk off a cliff. I'm a below-the-line worker, and I'm insanely happy for SAG. Also, insanely happy that we get to do this to you shits next year. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens next year, man. You sound like a pleasant, positive person to have on set. There's going to be a lot of these cats, man. I'm telling you, these guys are not happy. I know a couple of people, and hey, man, how's it going? And they said, yeah, I just can't wait till next year. That's what they say because they know I got a thing and they don't want me talking too much. But they say, I just can't wait till next year. And I'm going to leave it at that. Like, all right, bro. Hey, good luck. Geez, so many legit cycles on here just insulting people who have sacrificed everything for a battle that doesn't even benefit them. I guess your views on compassion and solidarity are exclusive for those in front of the camera, huh? I mean, we'll see what happens, man. But yeah, the comments are going to keep flying. People are not happy, and this situation, like CNN said, there's going to be a whole lot of acting going on, all right? Because these cats got to work together. They got to come on set. They got to figure out, hey, how are we going to, rub shoulders with each other and have everything be okay? Or, are we going to have some really interesting, contentious productions that are going to spill out because of this thing? Like, normally money makes everything go away. Like, okay, yeah, we all making money now. Everybody's good. But the fact that cats have lost jobs, they've lost their apartments, they've lost their houses and cars, they've been really strapped. And it's not like the economy is just booming and the dollar is just stretching as far as the eye can see, man. Your dollar is shrunk up even more. So there's a lot of pissed off people out there. Like, imagine if somebody kept you off your job and you had nothing to do with that, and they kept you off your job for 5 months during this struggling economy. Imagine how you would feel. That's how cats is feeling right now. And so I'm interested to see where this all goes. But you guys let me know what you think about all of this. Are you happy that the strikes are over? Because now we're going to start seeing some of these actors get out there and promoting and talking, and everybody's free to just discuss whatever they want to discuss. It's going to be interesting to see what they think and, you know, what some of their comments are going to be. But you guys let me know what you think. Jump down in the comments. Give me your thoughts and opinions on that. And thanks for watching. See you next time.